Good morning. I'm Tom Remington, and welcome to an episode of Open Air with Tom Remington. You like my new hat? I thought I'd try something a little different besides the usual baseball hat that I mostly wear, that and my Panama Jack hat. So here's looking at you, sweetheart. Hey, it's gotten really bad, I'm telling you. You know, it's bad enough that our society has gotten to the point where we have people who feel that they have the right to dictate to everybody else how to live. Oh yeah, they want to tell you and I what we can eat for food. Oh, can't eat meat, gotta eat this, no fat, less fat, fat-free, low sugar, high carb, low carb. You know, it's ridiculous. And of course, if we choose to go into McDonald's and eat a Big Mac, you know, they want to tax us for that more. You know, it's ridiculous. And now, you know, they want to tell us what kind of cars we can drive. You know, basically every facet of our life is now being affected by people who think that it's their job or their right. I'm not sure what drives them. Honestly, I really don't. It's some kind of an illness. It has to be another one of those syndromes. Like we don't have enough syndromes as it is. You know, that drives these people who think that, you know, that this is what they need to do. But you know, there's one aspect of it that I hadn't thought about, but lo and behold, it has actually reared its ugly head. Yes, now we have people who think that they can dictate what kind of a woman you should have an affair with. Yeah, you know, it's not bad enough that, you know, Tiger Woods is being, you know, just whatever, raked over the coals over his indiscretions, his transgressions, or whatever you want to call it. Personally, I don't care. You know, if the guy's, you know, I mean, he may end up throwing his whole, you know, career away over there. I mean, that was his choice. You know, he decided to do that. But now we've got people who really feel the need to chew this guy out because of who, the type of woman he decides to have sex or have an affair with, whatever you want to call it. Let me read what Eugene Robinson wrote yesterday in the Washington Post. And most of you have probably already heard this by now. Okay, he went on about, the usual crap about, people having affairs and everything. This is what he writes. But here's my real question. What's with the whole Barbie thing? No offense to anyone who actually looks like Barbie, but it really is striking how much the women who've been linked to Woods resemble one another. I'm talking about the long hair, the specific body type, even the facial features. Mattel could sue for trademark infringements. This may be the most interesting aspect of the whole Tiger Woods story, and one of the most disappointing. He seems to have been bent on proving to himself that he can have any woman he wanted, but from the evidence, his aim wasn't variety, but some kind of validation. Okay? Stay with me here. I'm making a big assumption here that the attraction for Woods was mostly physical, but there's no evidence thus far that he had a lot of time for deep conversation. I mean, this guy is what, a psychiatrist, a psychologist, whatever you want to call them, guys? If adultery is really about the power and satisfaction of conquest, I mean, this guy knows what it's all about, right? Wood's self-esteem was apparently only boosted by betting the kind of woman he thought other men lusted after. The playmate of the month, quote, type that Hugh Hefner turned into the American gold standard. But the world is full of beautiful women of all colors, shapes and sizes, some with short hair or almond eyes, some with broad noses, some with yellow or brown skin. Woods appears to have bought into an official standard of beauty that is so conventional as to be almost oppressive. His taste in mistresses leaves the impression of a man who is deep down both insecure and image conscious. A control freak even when he's committing transgressions. Can you believe it? This guy is chastising Tiger Woods' infidelities, his transgression, his choice of who the women are he's going to sleep with. And he's chastising him because, guess what? He is not showing enough diversification and enough variety in the women he chooses. Shall I say it? They're all white. My gosh, he's a mixed race man who has, not only has he had the audacity to run out on his wife and cheat. And the infidelities, like we're all without sin here, right? But this guy, he's gone so far as to not shown diversification in his transgressions. My God, the Tiger Woods should be shot and hung from a yardarm someplace because he's, we've got 11 women or something who supposedly have stepped forward and they just so happen to be white? Who cares? Who cares? They're not dogs. They're not sheep. They're not cattle. They're human beings. They're women. And now we have people who think that they have the right to dictate to somebody who they're going to have a sexual encounter with. And because somehow Tiger Woods is important, that he's like the wealthiest golfer, perhaps the best golfer that ever played the game, that somehow now we can dictate to him what color, what kind, what mental capacity, what body type, whatever the guy has to have. The guy has to have diversity in the women he picks to have sex with outside of his marriage? My God. It's unbelievable what our society has become. Unbelievable. I can't believe that. Would it matter if it was Joe Schmuckney? Some guy who can't even make the PGA Tour? If he had done this, would anybody have cared? Would anybody care if some guy with a fetish went out and had sex with all midgets? Or all black women? Unbelievable. Hey, you go out and have yourself a nice day, and by God, if you're going to cheat and run around on your wife, make sure you're politically correct in doing so, and you add a little diversity, a little, mix it up on the colors and the size and, the size of the boobs and the booty and, mix it up. That way nobody can blame you for being a racist.